I think Affinity and a lot of credit unions, we take a more holistic, human-centered approach to serving members during difficult times because we believe it's truly about the members' overall well-being. So if one element of well-being is suffering, then the member suffers throughout.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Sarah Snell Cooke, your host here at the Credit Union Connection. I am joined today by Pam Cohen. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Pam is the COO at Affinity Federal Credit Union out in New Jersey. Why don't you give us a little bit more about yourself and the credit union?
Awesome. Thank you. Affinity Federal Credit Union was started 90 years ago. We're headquartered in New Jersey, and we have around 20 branches throughout New Jersey and New York and Connecticut. We were the AT&T's Employee Federal Credit Union, and we're now a multi-seg
Mhm.
credit union, which presents its own challenges. I've been with the credit union for 9 years, and this is my first 9 years in the industry.
Yes, it kind of you kind of drink the Kool-Aid, it sucks you in. There's no
It
escaping
does.
that. Energy increases, healthcare, health insurance increases. I got hit with that one hard. Auto insurance premiums have jumped. I've been told that eventually we'll pay for them just like we will a mortgage, where insurance is included in your car payment. But can you provide a high level overview of how Affinity Federal Credit Union looks at members differently during difficult times like this?
So if their financial well-being is suffering, they're going to struggle all the way through. If their health is struggling, they're going to struggle all the way through. We do look at it a bit more holistically. We provide a lot of different resources, I feel, for our members in our communities. We have our member relief fund through our foundation, and we offer the loan deferments. We can combine the two to help our members. Like you said, it's a really tough time right now, and so many people are struggling. We have so many different financial tools and courses. We have financial well-being counselors where people can get individual support and guidance on how to move forward with their financial goals. We have two things that I think that make us different, I think, than banks. And one is we have a list of nationally recognized mental health resources on our website. We put that up during COVID. And we also have a list of community resources. If you need help with your rent, if you need help with your utility payment, those sorts of things that make us a little
Mhm.
different than a traditional financial institution.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you brought up like the holistic human being service. Because if your finances are in a mess, then your mental health might be a mess too. Or if your health is not great, then your financial situation may become less great. Certainly, I think a lot of us have experienced one thing or another like that. Step back a little bit higher level, and talk about like credit union's role during complicated times.
I think our role, if I take a step back, is it's a lot more important during complicated times like this compared to banks. When you think about our purpose as a credit union and how we're grounded in these cooperative principles and cooperative values and the member ownership, and we just have live with this mission of financial well-being, that's so much different than banks. And I think when we think about how credit unions were started and why, and it was because people couldn't get access to financial services, that says it all, right? That's why we exist. And we need to show up even more during these times and come up with like tailored solutions. One size doesn't fit all. You
Mhm.
could be struggling with rent. I could be struggling with medical debt. Somebody else could be struggling with a student loan. Another person could be struggling with just putting groceries on the table.
Right.
Is it the right thing to give a personal loan for groceries, or are they better off, as horrible as it sounds, going to a food pantry and using that money for utilities? It's
Mhm.
tailored solutions based on the individual.
Yeah. And I love that you're saying that too, as a very large credit union. Because as we've heard on Capitol Hill many a time that the bankers want credit unions tax, or they want the larger credit unions tax because they aren't behaving like credit unions anymore. And that's complete BS in my mind. But yeah, I think doing these kinds of efforts like financial education, financial wellness is so important. But of course, they're more important now. I don't know if you want to comment on that at all.
They are, and credit unions, and maybe not all credit unions, but we have taken a very traditional approach and said, okay, we're going to offer these courses, and they're either going to be in person or online. They're going to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Not everybody learns that way. And not only
Mhm.
does not everybody not learn that way, but they don't have the time or the inclination. And if we make it difficult, people aren't going to embrace it or take it. So we need to find different ways to educate people around finance, whether that's gamifying it, whether it's making short digital sort of, I don't want to say TikTok, but TikTok like
Ish.
videos. Yeah. And look, I'll say, oh, you see it on TikTok or Instagram all the time. Oh, if you save $100, you'll be a millionaire by the time you retire. Well, I have a 28-year-old and he's like, Mom, I can't afford $100 right now, so why even bother? I think
Mhm.
we have to get away from some of that stigma of, oh, we believe everything we see and encourage our members in our communities to say, well, no, it's okay if you can't save $100. Can you save $2? Can you save
Right.
$3? And make it so that it's realistic and that the person feels good about it, right? Sometimes you
Mhm.
feel so bad and that you're failing at finance. We've heard people say, I don't do finance. I've never learned it. So how can we help teach them, even tactically, step by step, in a way that resonates with them
Right.
to get them to feel good about it and strong?
Yeah, so much shame is wrapped around our financial position as well, whether it's your fault or not. You were just talking about basically personalizing your member financial wellness coaching and guidance. And of course, personalization is what everyone wants now. Has that helped with the absorption, if you will, the success of the information that you're sharing?
I think so. I mean, everybody, every credit union and every bank wants to say, oh, we're member centric. We've got this personalized journey for you. And we've got 10,000 members that are just like you. No,
Right.
everybody has different dreams. Everybody has different issues. Everybody has different emotions around finance. And I think if we understand that most of our financial decisions are made not necessarily logically, but emotionally, then it becomes a lot easier to ask the right questions and go and understand why people make the decisions they do and help them get to a place where emotionally they might feel better about it. But there's things that we look at. Did somebody make a late payment? Did somebody miss a payment? Are they increasing their expenses on their credit card? Those are good, like intervention things to say, we're here if you need help or if you want to talk about something. And again, taking that stigma and shame away from it.
So, and you all offer grants and scholarships. What are some other things that you offer? And is it time for creditors to ramp up these types of programs?
So we are, you're correct. We offer the grants, we offer the scholarships, we offer our well-being coaches for free sessions. Sometimes when you go speak to somebody about finance, you have to pay or you're pressured to open different products or services.
Mhm.
We don't do that. We have some small personal loans, different products and services that help our members. I do think it's time for us to ramp up. I don't think the economy and what's going on in the world is going to slow down. And I think it's going to become increasingly more difficult. I think one of the great things about credit unions is that we are cooperative in nature. So there are things that the New Jersey credit unions have done together. We've done a food drive together for our members. So whether you our small credit union, a mid-sized credit union, a large credit union, we can always do something, or we can collaborate with our partners, our credit union partners, to do a little bit more. Yeah, I think to really answer your question, yes, it's not getting easier. Life is getting more complex, and we need to help our members in our communities learn how to be resilient and get through these times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Affinity, as we mentioned, is 4.4 billion in assets, larger credit union. Where do you think credit unions that are smaller and likely have a smaller budget for these kind of things, where can they make the best impact for their members?
Oh my gosh, it would be pretentious of me to say that I know what a smaller credit union can do, because I look at some of our smaller credit unions, especially in New Jersey, and I say they have this nimbleness and this
Hmm.
resilience that I would love for us to be able to emulate. That being said, regardless of size, we know our members, credit unions know our members and our communities best. And sometimes as credit unions, we feel that we have to say yes to everybody and take care of everyone, and maybe we can't. And it's okay sometimes to say no. So, as a credit union, regardless of size, where can we make an impact? And let's focus on that.
Right. One thing at a time, one step at a time. So, one of the things I often get high on my soapbox about is for regarding credit unions is the lack of brand awareness after 100 years or more. And I'm not saying affinity, just credit unions in general. It seems like being on the front lines like this and being essential to members is will help you build a brand of an organization that cares, pillar of the community, that sort of thing. And so a lot of cranes, like you mentioned, are doing this type of work, and it seems it would be impossible not to build a brand from it. Yet awareness and understanding of cranes still remains low. So, how does Affinity use it to help support your brand and subsequently credit unions' overall brand?
So we do a lot of tabling events, not necessarily, yes, for the leads, right? So we can talk about how amazing we are, but also to explain why a credit union over a bank. And it's like our elevator pitch, right? You got to get it done in 30 seconds, probably
Mhm.
less than that, or the people are walking on. We also do a lot of, when we think about it, we've done a lot of different types of things. We've done blood pressure checks in our branches, or we've done paint and sips. We spent a lot of time thinking about wellness overall. So we did a series on physical well-being with a coach who came in and talked about nutrition and exercise. We talked about career, and I think that helps get the brand out there because it's a different sort of educational opportunity for people that they wouldn't necessarily think they would get from their financial institution. So thinking about different ways to get out there and meet our members' needs. I think one of the things that we did that I'm really proud of that got our brand out there, the credit union brand out there, is that we, on our impact day, where we come together and do volunteer work, we made 5,000 lunches for the food insecure, and we
Mhm.
partnered with different nonprofits in the area. And so credit unions are amazing at that. I think we're never going to win against big banks, but if we can stay true to our mission and our purpose and be there for our communities, I think the brand will move on.
Yeah, spread the word. Because yeah, it drives me nuts when credit unions, oh, we're the best kept secret. Don't brag. Don't brag.
No, that's not what we want to say. We want to say, look, we made 5,000 lunches, or we were in this
Yeah.
community, or we were in this community, or we volunteered this many hours at this food pantry.
And so many just don't even realize the work that they're doing every day is extraordinary because they do it every day too. That's why you need good PR and marketing in there. So I always allow my guests to have the final thought. What would you like to leave our credit union audience with today?
Stick to the mission, stick to why we exist, why we started. and don't get overwhelmed. Small things over time lead to huge change. So just keep at it because we're all making a difference.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it, Pam.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.